Yo, what is up everybody? My name is Zach. Hope you're all having a fantastic day and welcome to the day 155 recap of the 2016-2017 NBA season, where we talk about everything that went down in the previous day in the world of basketball. So now with the intro out the way, let's just hop into everything that did go down. To start off this video, we have to talk about a funeral. A player had their career ended on the court last night. And you know, it's not every day that a player has their career ended on the court, so I feel like it's only right to pay respects to that player before we talk about anything else. But before we talk about how he died, I have to show you how he died.
By Andre. 5 on the clock. James Johnson. Tomahawks. Blocking foul, trying to take the charge.
Counting all of it off the bench.
You know, this was one of the more interesting ones I have ever seen. For example, most of the time when a player gets dunked on or gets their career ended like this, people go crazy. The fans, the players, you know, everyone goes crazy. However, this time, it was dirt silent. The Pistons players weren't even going to help up Marcus Morris. They were just looking at him in astonishment on the ground. The Heat players were doing the same thing. You know, they looked at Morris, they looked at James Johnson, they looked back at Morris, and they just did their thing. And I think that's because James Johnson, after he ended Morris's career, didn't really make a big deal out of it. He just kept walking, walked back, and got ready to take his free throws. And speaking of free throws, ref, you didn't have to point to Marcus Morris like that. The man, everyone knew who the foul was on. The man just got his career ended, and you're gonna point down to him while he's on the ground in pain saying, you know what, the foul is on you too. But overall, the funeral will be held this Sunday at 12 a.m. for Marcus Morris if you want to come. You see players trying to go at their old teams all the time. After they get traded from one team to another team, then they play that other team again, they had to have some sort of a statement game where they want to let the team that traded them know that they messed up. And Jusuf Nurkic had one of those games last night, and he for sure made a statement with the way he was playing, but he also made a statement after the game.
You keep this momentum, Nurk, and get that win over Houston.
You know, when I came here and I said that we want to be in a playoff team, so we're going to be, you know, off there. So we right now there, and I wish those guys happy summer.
I can say what I want to say, ain't nothing to it. Gangsta rap made me do it.
Now, I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, I love the Denver Nuggets. I love Nikola Jokic as a player. I think the Denver Nuggets are a great young team. That being said, I can't deny the fact that I found that hilarious, and I want to see more of that in the NBA, which is going to lead us to the question of the day. Do you agree with what Nurkic did and said? Do you think he took it too far, or do you think, you know, there was nothing wrong with it? Also, would you like to see other players do similar things like this, where they take shots at other teams or players after the games or even during the games? Like I said, obviously I loved it and I am all for it. Anytime there is bad blood between a players or a team, it causes the games to be just that much more exciting. You know, it gives the regular season games between those teams kind of like a playoff feel, which is great. Let me know your answers down in the comment section below. But speaking of answers, let's check out some of you guys' answers from yesterday's question, which yesterday's question was whether or not you would trust Sam Hinkie with the rebuilding of your favorite NBA team. Melvin Carter says, as a Sixers fan, I say no organization can trust Hinkie. I mean, yeah, he can get you some draft picks, but he doesn't know when to stop. He doesn't let young players develop before he trades them for more picks. You know, that's a really good point, Melvin. Hinkie did an excellent job when it came to getting picks, but I think it might have been to the point where he was obsessed with draft picks and he forgot at some point the team has to start winning in order for this process to go anywhere. But that being said, if the Kings did bring in Hinkie, it would only be as a consultant for Vlade Divac. So Hinkie wouldn't be the guy that was making the moves, just someone who they could talk about on what moves to make. And once Vlade Divac says, you know what, I think we have enough draft picks, they can just let Sam Hinkie go, which I think that could actually be a pretty good career option for Hinkie. You know, he's a guy that teams call when they want to start rebuilding. They call up Hinkie, he gets them some draft picks, and after he gets some of the draft picks, he lets them go, and then he signs with another team to do the exact same thing. Sarhash Manderwad saying, he has got the experience with rebuilding. For example, the 76ers are easily going to be a good, if not great team in the next few years. The reason to that is because of Sam Hinkie. He traded for picks and got players such as Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. So if I were going to rebuild, then I would look to Sam Hinkie. Yeah, he was the one responsible for getting them the picks that eventually turned into Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. And he also got him a lot more picks in previous years to come. But like I just said in the previous one, the problem with Hinkie might have been that he didn't know exactly what to do after he got the picks. He knows how to blow up a team and he knows how to get draft picks. But when it comes to, you know, like the other stuff, he might not have known what to do. That's gonna wrap it up for that segment of the video. Now let's hop over to the games from last night. Two of the most dangerous offensive teams that the NBA has ever seen squared off last night for the third time this season, with the season series tied at 1 game apiece. And in this game, James Harden would get his 20th triple-double of the season. but the Warriors jumped Houston out of the gate to take a 37-20 lead after one. Houston still did make a game out of it, but they could never fully overcome the deficit, and the Warriors get the 113-106 win. Stephen Curry was the bane of Harden's 20th triple-double last night, as he had 32 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. And he may not have shot well from 3, but that didn't stop him from delivering the dagger 3 with around 90 seconds left in the game. Klay Thompson also had 25, and a kind of scary scene in this game as Trevor Ariza falls onto the head of James McAdoo and cracks it open. He would of course leave the game after that and will be tested for a concussion. James Harden had 24 points, 13 assists, and 11 rebounds for the Rockets. So you guys already know what went down here from earlier in the video. This was probably the most important game that either of these two teams will play this entire season, as they were tied for the 8th seed in the West. And with the 122-113 win, the Blazers now have a 1-game lead for that final spot, as well as they now have the tiebreaker, so even if they do finish the season with the same record, the Blazers will get the spot. But this game was more than that for Nurkic. This was his chance to show Denver exactly what they let go of, to show them who was the real winner of that trade. And he did. He most definitely did, dropping 33 points on 12 of 15 shooting, as well as grabbing 16 rebounds. A lot of times players try to have a good game against their former team after being traded, but it almost never works out. So, you know, good for you, Nurkic, on getting your revenge. CJ McCollum did help out though, as he dropped 39. Meanwhile, for the Nuggets, Nikola Jokic had 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists, and Mason Plumlee, who the Nuggets traded Nurkic for, had 0 points. This one was too close for comfort. Miami had a 12-point lead midway through the third, and then the Pistons made a rally, and then the Miami Heat still had a pretty comfortable margin headed into the fourth quarter. And in the fourth, the Pistons actually had the lead 96-92 with 30 seconds to play in the game. And you know, those final seconds really just summarize this entire season for the Detroit Pistons, as it looked like they were going to win, and then they lost at the buzzer once again. And on a Hassan Whiteside tip-in that was reviewed and confirmed to count, 97-96 was the final score. Goran Dragic continues to play extremely well for Miami, as he had 28 points while Hassan Whiteside had 19 points and 9 rebounds. KCP led the Pistons with 25 while Harris had 19 off the bench. So the officials may have goofed up a bit in this one. With 5 seconds left of the game, Rubio gets the ball on a pass from Andrew Wiggins with the Wolves down 2. Rubio comes off a screen and attempts to fire up a 3, but gets bumped on the shot and would hit all 3 free throws to give the Wolves a 115-114 win. But the foul was called on Jeff Teague, and it seemed that Rubio actually bumped into his own teammate, Gorgui Dieng. So, you know, that's unfortunate for any Pacers fans out there that, you know, they were called for a foul that they didn't commit. The real question is though, is why is Andrew Wiggins giving the ball to Rubio with under 5 seconds to go to hit a shot with the game on the line? Overall though, this game was a duel between Paul George and Karl Anthony Towns, each of them scoring 37 points while Towns also had 12 rebounds. Jeff Teague and Ricky Rubio just about matched each other blow for blow as well. Rubio with 21 points, including hitting all 13 of his free throws and 10 assists, and Jeff Teague had 20 points and 10 assists. Either one of two things happened in this game. The Wizards were toying around with the Lakers the entire game, or the Lakers remembered that they're supposed to be losing and not winning. Either way though, the Lakers still managed to lose after being up 13 headed into the fourth. 119-108 was the final score. The Lakers were outscored in the fourth 37-13. And with the win, the Wizards have clinched their first division title in 38 years. John Wall played a big part in this accomplishment with 34 points and 14 assists, while his backcourt mate Bradley Beal had 16. D'Angelo Russell had 20 points and 9 assists, and Jordan Clarkson had 22 for the Lakers. Most people at this point in the season thought these two teams would be in opposite places, as the Bucks are tied for the 5th seed in the East, whereas the Hornets are outside of the playoff scene at the 11th seed. But the Bucks have been the better team this year, and they let that be known last night, as they never gave Charlotte a chance. 118-108 was the final score, but even though they only lost by 10, that doesn't really tell how dominating this game actually was for the Bucks. But since when has Tony Snell been capable of catching fire? I never thought I'd see the day where he had 26 points on 10 of 14 shooting from the field, while Giannis had 20 points and 8 rebounds. Meanwhile, Kemba Walker had 26 and Frank Kaminsky had 20 for the Hornets. High-key, Joel Embiid being shut down for the rest of the season was probably the best thing that could have happened to Philly this year. They were a pretty good team in the 31 games he played, and if he was able to play more, they probably would have been close to winning 35-40 games. But because he got injured, they are once again looking at getting another top 5 lottery pick. And it's also allowed Dario Saric to show that he is the perfect stretch 4 to put next to Embiid as he continues to shine. He had 23 points and 7 rebounds last night, while Robert Covington had 21 points and 13 rebounds in the Sixers' 106-101 victory over Brook Lopez and the Brooklyn Nets. Lopez had 26. No Devin Booker for the Suns in this one as he was out with an injured ankle, and the Hawks looked like they were ready to put this one away to start the game as they jumped out to a 27-12 lead after 1. But they let Phoenix right back in the game in the second quarter when they were outscored 32-20. And the Hawks needed to go on a 17-1 run in the fourth quarter, capped off by Dennis Schroeder hitting 3 consecutive threes to come away with a 95-91 win and snap their 7-game losing streak. Schroeder had 27 points and 9 assists, while TJ Warren scored 24 for Phoenix. And that wraps up all the action for the day 155 recap of the 2016-2017 NBA season, and now it's time to get into the player of the day. Yesterday, you guys selected Russell Westbrook and his 37 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists as your player of the day, and here are today's nominees. You have John Wall and his 34 points, 14 assists, and 4 steals. Karl Anthony Towns and his 37 points and 12 rebounds. Stephen Curry and his 32 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. Jusuf Nurkic and his 33 points and 16 rebounds. CJ McCollum and his 39 points. Or Hassan Whiteside and his 17 points, 9 rebounds, but he did have the game-winning tip-in. You guys can go vote for the player of the day right now by following the straw poll link down in the description box below. But other than that, thank you once again for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like on it and subscribe if you haven't already for more daily NBA videos. And until tomorrow, keep getting them buckets, Team SDC, and I'm out of here. Peace!